I'm at Darryl Hollenbeck's. I'm probably guessing that he's probably the best painter in the world. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because we were at the Super Bowl of cars at the Grand National Roadster Show, and I'm thinking that Darryl may have painted more cars than anybody that has won that award. And for me, I'm thinking it's like a quarterback that has the most rings. And I'm thinking that Darryl has the most rings. Is that true, Darryl? Do you have the most rings?
Don't know if I have the most, but I think I have a pretty good shot. I mean,
you have to think about that.
Yeah, this year I was actually part of number 6. You know, I didn't paint it, but I went back to help with the 36 Roadster.
Yes.
Helped them for 9 days, I think, when I went back there and helped them. But no, we've been blessed.
Also, Darryl has won the award himself. He's built his own car and has won that award, so his name's on that big ass trophy. That's
the big trophy. So the 9-footer.
Are you in the Hall of Fame?
I am in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And I'm thinking like he's the Wayne Gretzky of hockey or that sort of deal thing. And the reason being is because of the stats. And he can prove it with his name on the trophy and all the cars that he's worked on. But I'm here today just to go over his process. And I think that anybody that's into cars that wants to know, this is the video to watch. Yeah. If you want to play with the big boys, and Darryl is a big boy. And I'm here and I'm happy to be here because not every day you get to walk in on somebody and talk to somebody that has done more than Darryl has. And it's nice. True.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
I try not to lie about anything.
No. We try and do what we know how to do, and that's we've been blessed to work on cool stuff, and my process is my process. It may not work for somebody else, but it's worked for us. We've been successful with it. And, even cars that are 10, 15 years old still look pretty darn good for.
So can you name a few people you painted cars for that you're proud of?
We've done stuff for Jeff Beck.
That is the guitar player?
Guitar player. We've done stuff for James Hetfield from Metallica, Eric Clapton, then Rick Dorr and the Richard Zokis and DiAgostinos from the past. We did a lot of custom stuff back in the day. Now we're doing more hot rod stuff. So
people don't get to know who's behind the deal sometimes. There's generally a face that goes with the car.
Yes.
And your face would not be there.
No.
But you're the guy that's actually done the work.
We're the ones that are doing the work.
Yeah.
And,
and that's where it's at for that's where it's at for me.
And that's kind of what our award that we give out at Grand National is all about. It's recognizing the people that do the work. So that's kind of cool. It's called the Triple Gun Award of Excellence, but it goes to the guy that's doing the work, not to the owner.
I seen a gun yesterday at my friend Jimmy Radar's. It was 2 guns like this together.
Yeah.
It had 1 handle. What's that all about?
I don't know. That's pretty cool though.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
This is your car?
Yeah, this is one of them. Yeah, this is a little T that we bought, I don't know, 5 years ago or so.
It's cool.
Yeah, we've had fun with it. It's 22 T, it's all steel. So it's a fun little car to drive.
It's cute.
Have fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
Is it for sale?
For the right price, yeah. For you? Yeah, definitely.
It's for sale. It could be for sale. All this stuff up here, did you paint all these cars up here? Wow.
Yes. So that's the AMBR Smurk, the Jack Calori Coupe.
Yes.
The a la carte.
Yes.
That's John Mumford's 27T, track T that we did that won America's Most Beautiful Roadster. That was the second one I won.
Okay.
Our car.
That's your car right there?
That's my roadster. Yeah, our roadster. And then there's the Grasshopper that we did for Dave Shutton in Galpin. The yellow one is Gary Metters.
So you've been on the cover of all these.
Those are all covers of Roadster Journal, yeah. So
that's what I told you, people. I told you I was not lying. I was not lying. And this is the guy that can paint a car for $29?
Yes. Oh, Earl.
Did you ever meet that guy?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't?
There's actually a funny story that goes with that. Is the guy that used to own the Grand National Roadster Show, Don Tognati.
I've heard that name before.
He was, and Tognati's all over the world, but he used to call me Earl all the time because my name's Darryl, so he used to always call me Earl Scheib. So
okay.
Anyway,
that's pretty cool to have.
Yeah, the baby blue one is Eric Clapton's, the first one I did for him. So
everybody in the world would know who Eric Clapton is.
Yeah,
I would think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rings. Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
I didn't realize that.
Nice. So
awesome, because that's some people's favorite magazine.
Yeah. No. It was. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's still going, is it not?
I think they're getting it going again.
Okay.
I think kind of had some issues, but now it's getting back running again. So
everybody knows now this is the man that laid the paint on the cars. That's quite something.
Yeah.
That's quite something.
I've done it pretty much. Yeah. My adult
Thanks for
life.
letting us in.
Yeah. No problem.
Thanks for letting us in.
You're welcome anytime.
So what do you have here?
This is a 34 Roadster that we are doing for America's Most Beautiful Roadster in the next year or so.
Can you show us?
Cannot.
He's that good, you
Sorry.
can't even show you the car.
Yeah, it's just one of those I was asked not to. So
Okay.
That's why we kind of keep them covered.
Can you say who it's for? No. The boss is over there in the corner? No.
Yeah.
No. So this stuff here is being ready to be painted, blocked,
Yes.
sanded? What?
Yep. This is all final primer. So the next step after this stuff is sand and prep paint. So we make fixtures and have fixtures to hold pretty much everything.
That's nice that they have these things here to
Yeah.
hold the pieces, because I've done it before and I wrestle around them on the ground, have
even
between
on
my
the little
knees.
racks, all the little scissor racks and stuff, they still, but we try and do them to where they're out,
It's nice to paint it that way.
It's nice to paint it that way, and it's nice to sand and polish them if we have to, and you get inside and outside.
And you paint the door like this, you don't paint it laying down?
I don't paint it laying down. I've painted a black car one time with the doors laying down, and actually with black, the color was different. So
Okay.
from that point on, everything's got to be on a fixture, and it makes it a little easier when you get it all in the paint booth with, you can move them back and forth or whatever with the wheels on them and stuff. So
I see that you have it taped off on the inside.
yes,
Are you painting the inside or not painting
we
the
will
inside?
paint the inside. So this is a car that gets driven will get driven all the time. We'll use the bed liner
On the inside?
on the inside of the fenders.
So will you paint the inside first or you paint the inside after?
Usually after, so we don't get overspray either way. So we'll do them before it's
So
rubbed
you'll
out.
tape off both sides?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. So,
Ugh, that's a lot of work.
but the bed liner actually helps protect from the rock stars where you get from coming out the tire. With
We'll call them Eric Clapton's or James
yeah,
Hetfield's?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, it helps protect them. So
So this will have to be painted once,
Yes.
and then you'll have to tape it off the outside and then paint the inside?
yes.
Wow.
Yep. Because it doesn't stick very well to bed liner, but like on the floor of that.
And also would have a texture, so would,
Yes.
yeah, you could, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the
Yep.
floor and the wheel wells on that, the 36 with all these parts going, we'll paint the floor first,
Yeah.
because that way we don't have to put it on the rotisserie again after it's painted.
So you paint the underneath of this car also as the top?
As a top. Yep. So this one will get the same thing, the bed liner. Like this car here will be body color. So this one will get sanded, polished, everything just like the outside of the car.
Underneath?
Underneath.
If you want to play with the big boys, I guess you got to do the deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
there's
So that
lots
car
of
there,
hours.
you have to put that on rotisserie?
Yes, and it stays on the dolly just like it is. Most of the cars we do have a dolly that's can be fabbed up.
Yes.
This one's for the bigger cars. It's a little longer. And the rotisserie hooks right here. So we'll leave it all on there so there's more structure
That's nice.
instead of just lifting
And
the
bolting
body.
into the car, you would never get paint on that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
nice.
So
That's
then
nice.
we'll do the whole underneath. We'll mask it off. Then we'll take it off the rotisserie. Everything gets braced up on the inside, no matter if it has a top or not. I've had a 36 three-window coupe that actually cracked.
And you learned your lesson.
Learned my lesson. So
And you learned it from a mistake.
yep. So
That's
we
how
try
I
and-
learn everything is
try and
mistakes.
brace everything up to where keeps it square and keeps all the door gaps and all that kind of stuff.
Do you do any metal work here?
Yes.
Yes. So
We do light metal work. I mean, we aren't making panels. We don't have the capabilities to make panels, but we do.
that's not what you're all about.
Nope.
You're the
Body and paint and kind of fit and finish. We don't do any mechanical stuff. It's just
you make it look like that.
we make it look like that. It comes in bare metal
Yeah.
and you look like that. So
That's quite something else.
yeah, so we try and do that kind of
He's
stuff.
a rock star in the car world.
I'm not.
Well, you definitely are to me.
Thank you.
Definitely are to me. You don't even have to thank me. It's true.
Just been blessed
To work on them.
to work on them and be able to do something that I really. Sometimes it's not all fun, but I really love what I do. You know?
Awesome.
Yeah, she can vouch for it. I love what I do.
Well, let's face it. I mean, you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got to count them again. You're on 10 covers of the Roaders Journal.
Yeah.
And you've won the You've been a part of the Grand National Roadster Show. You've won how many? 6 times?
I've won. This year was my 6th that I was part of.
Yeah.
The other ones, I've 5 before that. We did all the body work and paint work, everything on them here. The other one, I flew back to Rad Rides by Troy and helped him.
That was quite a car.
Helped him with that.
Quite a car.
Yeah. So
Absolutely gorgeous.
we went back and forth for a lot of years, and
Yeah.
it almost got to be a joke.
Oh, you
Like-
too? You and him?
Yeah, Troy. And I.
Okay.
Yeah. I want you to come out and do something. Oh, yeah, whatever. And it was just for some reason everything kind of aligned this year, and I had some time to go back there. We had some of our stuff done. So.
And where's he out of?
Manteno, Illinois.
Mantilla, Illinois.
Manteno, Illinois. Just
Right on.
hour and a half from Chicago, but it's.
Can I ask
Yes.
what you're using for primer?
We will use polyester, high build, like slick sand is what we use for polyester
Okay.
over our body filler, and then we'll block that. And then this is what we call a final primer. This is a house of colors. They call it. It's a hybrid primer, but it's kind of a direct to metal.
So
thing.
you're using a polyester first.
Yes.
And what's it mean? Polyester is plastic, is it not?
Yeah, it's resin.
Resin.
Basically, what it is liquid body filler is what it is. It can help you out a lot for something that's not quite right.
So someone says they got no body fill in their car and they're using polyester. Well, that's what they're filling their car out.
Yeah.
Polyester primer.
Yeah.
How many coats will you put on this?
We'll do 4 coats of polyester, then we'll block it, and then we'll.
Just a minute.
Okay.
How fine is your body work before you prime this?
We'll go 150 is where we prime over.
150.
So, but
I do 40-80 prime.
Yeah.
That's what I do, 40-80 prime. But 150, yeah.
150 is a little bit, makes it a little
Better.
Yeah, you aren't chasing scratches and
picks,
swelling
yes.
and stuff like that. But the polyester primer will help that.
Okay.
It helps lock all that down.
So polyester, just this is for everybody else. I'm learning also as he's explaining this. So he's going to a 150, and then he's polyester priming this thing, and you're doing 4 coats.
4 coats.
How long do you let it dry?
Our dry time is about 30 minutes. We pull it out of the paint booth and go on to the next batch of stuff because we have,
You've got an oven.
I've got an oven. Yeah, it's 100-degree temperature rise is what it is.
Okay.
So if it's 70 degrees outside, it'll go to 170. But it's, we usually bake it about 130, 140.
Awesome.
So, and it helps speed things along, helps get all the solvent and stuff out. Right. So when this is in body filler, we'll actually put it in there and turn the heat on for a little while. And, if there's any moisture or anything in it.
Thank you for telling me that. So you'll fill it out with to 150.
Yeah.
You'll put that in there and make it.
Yeah, we'll mask it just like this.
And cook the body fill. That makes sense.
For a little bit. Yeah, get some of the moisture. Because it's porous, so it can get moisture in it.
Who taught you that? You just kind of figured it out, or
kind of?
It's a process you.
Process. Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Never thought of that.
No.
Never thought of it. Do you use epoxies?
Not under my body filler, no. And that's a big thing.
It is a big thing. It is a big thing.
Yeah,
I don't use it either, but I don't use it, and the reason being is money. I mean, let's face it.
I was taught to do it direct
this
to metal.
way.
Yes.
Right.
And that's the way I've always done it. I've never had anything fail. I understand the process of epoxies.
Yes.
But I don't completely.
You don't need it, obviously.
No, and
that's the proof.
I get the idea of the epoxy, but it's everybody. Like I said, this is my process.
Yes.
It may not be somebody else's process.
The only reason I turn to the camera and kind of smile is because you have the proof.
Yeah. I mean,
you have the proof. It's nice when you have the proof when you say you do something and you have the proof.
Yeah, it's just.
And if someone doesn't believe the proof, well, then that's called STUPID, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's, if you're not. So basically, when you get this car, when you go to put mud on it, what grit are you scratching it down with?
40 grit.
40 grit.
Yeah.
So it's scratched up.
It's scratched up.
So 40 grit, you're rubbing by hand, or you're blocking it, or
a machine,
a DA?
Yeah.
And you're making sure everything's
or a killer
scratched.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everything's scratched. Yeah.
Nice to know.
Try not to get on our body filler too soon because it peels back. You know, but we try. And
okay, so what you're saying is, do not, when you put your body filler on your metal, don't get on it too quick. Let it heal.
Not to. Let it
heal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Let it heal.
Yeah.
I've done that many times.
Yeah.
I think anybody who's into bodywork has obviously got
too
their,
fast and
it peels off
back,
and then it makes
peels
a
back.
sort of a mess.
Yep.
That's nice to know. That's really 40 grit to scratch it all up. So everybody, when you see all these cars in bare metal and they look shiny, that's not where you start. No. That's for pictures, and that's for customers to see good-looking work.
That's the end process. That's the end right there.
Okay, that's the end. So you're actually scratching down 40 grit, and then you're ready to rock and roll with your filler.
Yeah.
You're going to 150 grit.
Yep.
And then you
start cutting with 80 grit. Cut our filler with 80 grit, and then we'll go finish it off with 150. And there's a step in between.
You will start cutting your filler with 80 grit, not 40 grit?
No. Not unless we really have to. If it kicks too long, gets hard, then we'll knock the tops off with 40. But we usually start with 80 grit.
So he's 80 grit, and then he's going to 150 grit, and then you're getting 4 coats of primer.
4 coats of primer.
And before you even put primer on it, you'll shove it in the oven, get it baked up so everything's cured, the filler's all cured.
Yeah, everything's good. We'll go in and scuff everything off, all our bare metal sanded and prepped and all that kind of stuff.
And then you're putting 4 coats of polyester on it.
Yep.
You're heating that up, make sure that's cured.
Yep.
And then what do I do? What's your next process? What's
My
your
next process? Well, okay, we use, back to the body filler, we'll use what's called stink block. Some people know, some people don't. I don't know where the process came from, but I've used it for years, and we have a little saying that stink block will not lie, or stink block doesn't lie. But I'm sure you've run into it when you have multiple layers of filler.
Yes, it makes it difficult.
One's harder, one's softer, one's to get it sanded. This stuff really helps out on not just that, but most of the cars we're doing aren't flat. They aren't a Cadillac. They have shape from front to back, and if we use a big flat block, heavy block on them, then it let's chatter.
Let's face it.
Yes.
If you got a round spot.
Yes.
How do you use a flat block?
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense.
There's little ones that you can use and stuff like that, but our process is.
Can you show us the stink block?
So this is.
I'm getting it down now, baby.
Yeah.
I'm getting it down now. He might have told me before. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So this is stink block. This brick's been cut off. They're a little bit bigger. It's actually insulation, and whoever discovered it, I don't know. It's a process that I've learned from older gentlemen.
Look in there.
Yeah, so this is like little pieces that we just use in case we got to do a door jam or something. Little small.
Yes,
stuff.
if you need to grab something, you take it and you use
stinks.
it.
It smells like sulfur.
Yeah.
That's why we call it stink box.
When you go home at night, you must shower really quick if you're blocking that stuff. Can you smell it when you get home?
Everywhere. It's in your shoes. It's once you start sanding.
So you smell like farts.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a fart block. People have different sayings. This is in polyester, this hood top.
Polyester, so that's the first.
This is the first prime.
First prime.
So we've actually gone over the body filler with this before. I usually use, you use a block that's, if you're using a big panel, then you use a big block.
You got a spot up here.
Yes, you got to use something, and you usually cut these, and that's why the lines are on it.
Yeah.
So you know which way to cut it. It doesn't matter if it's grit. You don't know what it is.
How are you cutting it?
Cut it with a putty knife.
Okay.
So, here, where's my garbage can? I can cut a little piece off of this.
Okay.
It goes real easy. It's just, you can scribe.
Oh, wow.
It goes right through it. And
well, look at that.
Stuff like that. That's a good piece there. So's that one.
Yeah. You'll keep it. You'll get it back.
Yeah. So, and the way it works is, let me try this one.
Yep.
It's flat.
You got it chunked off in a square?
Yeah, and usually, like I said, this is just for demonstration, but we'll use a piece that's big enough for this pan.
Oh, okay. So you'll cut a bigger piece.
We'll cut a piece just the whole length right there.
Okay.
And we'll start with that on this. But for demonstration, I'll use this piece.
Okay.
So
you got little pieces of just
little pinholes. Little pinholes we filled.
You fixed before you got into it.
And then it's flat, as you can see. There's no shape to it at all. And then we'll start blocking just like you would normally block. Not a whole bunch of pressure, but you know it's.
And you can see where, like, there's no guide coat on that.
Yeah.
You don't guide coat?
No, not on this we don't.
Not on that, okay.
But you can see how it takes shape.
And it stinks.
Yes. Yeah, it takes shape of what you're doing. So.
Wow.
In most of the cars, you know, if you're sanding the side of that, it will actually take
the shape
of the car. We sand it flat, and you just take. We got a block here we use just for that.
So you've got four good coats of primer on that.
Yeah.
That's coming out very quick.
Yes.
So the bodywork was done really pretty damn good.
And this will help you do that, or help us.
And you also did that in the bodywork too.
Yes. This is
after the 150.
Before
the 150. So you did 80.
80.
Then that.
Then we do this, and then we do 150.
Okay, see, trying to get all of it.
I mean, it's all sanding. That's all we do is scratches.
I understand that, but I'm trying to get what step you took where. Because I'll probably watch this video a couple times.
Yeah. So we start. I mean, 40 grit with the metal.
Yeah.
And we go all the way to 8,000 when we rub something out. So it's just that's all you're doing is scratch.
8,000.
That's all you do is scratch.
8,000.
Yes. They have 8,000 grit scratch or sandpaper enough for the DAs.
8,000. I guess that's how you get there. I guess I'm not sure, but 8,000. Like,
Yeah.
I thought the only thing I've heard it tell is 3,000.
Just 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. We don't use 8 as much.
What would 8 be, like paper? Like
It's kind of the same thing. It's
like
weird
material?
foamy stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
But it's.
So now that you've got that, you've got that block down.
Yes.
You've got everything fixed,
Yep.
and now you're going to a what kind
We'll
of
guide
primer?
coat that.
You'll go after.
After we stink block it, we'll guide coat it. Then we'll 150 it again, and then we'll go to
Okay.
like these parts
Just slow down for a second.
Okay.
I'm learning. I'm trying to get a job. when you sand that down with that,
Yes.
you're blocking that all over. Then you go back to a 150 again.
Yes, we'll guide coat it and 150 it again.
150 it again. Okay.
And-
with sandpaper.
Yep.
And you're using what kind of blocks?
We're using these blocks here. These are my new favorites. They're called Next Level blocks, and you have what I like about them.
Yeah.
Is different sizes, but they have different. And they're plastic on one side and foam on the other, but they have different thicknesses. So see the thickness on the plastic on that one?
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Instead of being completely rigid, like this one.
Gotcha. Okay, right on.
You know, this got a little bit more give.
Yeah.
These guys are from up in your neck of the woods.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Close by.
They're up in Canada.
So when you're doing that edge of that hood, like you've taken the shape with that, now you're using that with the 150 with the after guide coat. So you're rolling it and making sure.
We're rolling it, and that's what I like about, because we'll use these for body filler to cut our body filler in 80 grit,
Yeah.
and then what I like is the foam side.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for instance, so here's a piece that's, you know, sandpaper stuck to it, but they have littler ones.
So
That we can use for this part, and we can use the foam side,
yeah.
or we can use the hard plastic side.
Yeah.
So it will help shape this area.
So what you're doing with that there, you're going to go that to 150 now.
Yes.
What block would you grab to do the hood?
The flat area, I'd use something like this.
Would you use the foam side or the hard side?
I'd use the hard side first, then I'd go back over the foam side to make sure I'm not cutting any grooves.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, you can catch an edge on this,
Yes.
and it can cut a line in it.
Yes.
So that's why we got to guide coat it and go back over it,
Just to make sure.
just to make sure that we don't have, we call it chatter.
Okay.
Chatter.
I do chatter a lot. So that's where you're at.
That's where I'm at. And then, you know, with the stink block, it's real gritty. And once in a while, and it's sharp. I mean, it's, you know, it's...
Yeah. I can tell. Because it's cutting that.
But you can get one of these little chunks
That stay
actually
in the primer.
embeds into either the body filler or the primer. Because actually body filler's softer than
than this
The
polyester.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can get a little chunk stuck in there, and then what happens is you're chasing that little chunk all the way through paint. If you don't,
and it'll look like it's a piece of dirt.
It's a piece of dirt.
And then you're not going to get it when you polish it.
Nope. And then you'll see that.
That's happened to you before?
That thing. Yes, it has.
That's
you wonder why is that doing that? And it's like, well, that's what happens is, we usually try and get it before.
Yes. Right.
Because we'll wipe everything down and check
and you'll feel it.
before it's paint. Yeah, and you'll feel it, you'll see it, and it's like, why is there...
And you obviously...
Looks like a pimple.
I've had lots. When you, what can I say? When you see something, you're obviously going to see it in your paint.
Yes.
So if you, like it's basic stuff. Like if someone can see a piece of dirt in your car, they obviously know that would have to be sanded out, or people should know that would have to be sanded out. If you can see
it's
anything.
just like the orange peel, there's very little peel in this.
Yes.
It's tighter, but if you don't get that out,
it's going to be in your paint.
We're going to chase this all the way through to the end.
Gotcha.
So, and excuse the expression?
No, go ahead.
We call it the fat lady's ass syndrome.
I've got that.
It's kind of, you can look at it like this.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. It looks like a mirror. But if you side across it, it kind of has that roll to it.
Cellulite.
That's because it's not blocked. It's not blocked correctly. I mean, you didn't get all the cellulite or the fatness out of
what's
your
going
primers.
on. Right.
And you gotta make sure that it's out all the way through. How do I know? Because it's happened. You look at something and you go, why?
Right? That's how you got the rings.
And you got to figure out why.
That's how you got the rings.
So that's our process on up to primer.
So now that you've got it you've got to guide coat it.
150.
150. Now you're going to prime it again.
We'll do a final primer on it, and basically from this point on.
Is that final primer?
That's final primer.
Okay.
And it's kind of a hybrid.
Urethane?
Epoxy, yes, urethane primer.
Urethane. So urethane is urethane more plastic or?
It's a little softer, but it's, this is like sprayable Bondo. This is like body filler.
Okay.
Ish. But from this point on, after stunk block at 150, we're just chasing scratches.
Okay.
Because we're not using that primer to fix anything. We're just using that to fill our scratches. Fill our scratches to make sure that, if we got something that's a ripple or anything like that, we're not trying to get it out. We're trying to get it out.
Okay, so what I was going to ask. So how long do you let this dry before you go at it? Oh, like we already said. You
bake it. Yeah, we bake it, and then it's usually a day or two before we...
So someone didn't have an oven.
Yes. It's got to be at least 24 hours.
At least 24 hours.
Yeah.
And you do not use epoxy.
I do not use epoxy. I've had problems with epoxy. This is my personal thing.
Yes.
I've had problems with epoxy and...
Basically, my opinion, my belly button, epoxy's for like spraying it on and painting over top of it.
Yes.
Without sanding it.
I use epoxy as a sealer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I don't like metal etch the acid part and a lot of the stuff now because we use a lot of water base. And you have to have all your bare metal covered, but if you got to go in and metal etch everything before you put a sealer on it, it's just that much more time. So why not skip that part and go to an epoxy that,
and then spray over top of it.
Spray over top.
Okay, so we're on to this stage now.
Okay.
So are you going to guide coat that?
Yes, we'll guide coat that.
What we use for guide coat?
We use dry guide coat 3M stuff. Let me
powder?
go for my cabinet. Yes, powder.
Okay. This is awesome stuff.
I'll put my stink block away.
I thought you just farted.
Yeah.
And if you did, I wouldn't care anyways.
So we use the dry guide coat.
Okay.
3M, or we use Merca. Either or. So then we'll guide coat the whole car.
That's nice.
And then we'll block it. We'll start blocking with 320.
So what happens in there? Let me see that bad boy. When you pull that off, it just comes up through that. You just kind of tip it over.
Yeah, you just tip it over.
Yeah. Okay.
And we turn it a little bit.
What's nicer than I use spray balm or whatever.
I mean, this is. It took me a long time, but it's
nicer. It looks nicer.
Yeah, and it gets everywhere. The spray balm, you got.
Yes.
clog up your paper, as you probably know.
I think that's nicer, and the reason being is, like you said, it gets in better. Like you're rubbing it on the car. It looks good.
But you know, it's
it.
affordable to me.
What would that cost?
I don't know. I just buy it when I need it.
Yeah,
and,
I understand.
But this is, so we do. We'll 320 this, and then we'll 500 it.
320.
Yep.
500.
Yep. And then we'll seal it and paint.
Will you guide code in between the 300 and the 500?
No. That's why we seal them.
Okay, so when you sand this with 300, you're blocking that off.
Huh?
What was I going to ask? Are you sanding with a block? You're obviously doing it with a block.
We're doing a block.
Whatever you need to make it in shape.
At this point right here,
Yeah.
the car's straight.
So you could sand it by hand.
I can sand it by hand, but we try not to. We'll use the softer side of the blocks so they don't catch an edge.
And make a groove or
there's a lot of different stuff. I mean, this is all full of blocks. I got blocks to do whatever. I can block my wife's toenails with these.
Right?
You know?
I could pick my nose with that.
Yeah, and these are these are Velcro, and then there's sticky back and whatever it takes to get it done. We use.
And what happens is you put it back when you're done using it. Yeah.
This is.
So is this your own little?
This is my personal.
Does anybody work for you have their own little spot?
Yeah, box? we all have our own little stuff. This Dennis that works for me, that's his little black box there, and he rolls it up to the job and
goes for it.
So, and this is my little.
And he knows your process down by heart.
Yes. That's part of
That's part of the deal.
It's part of the deal.
He has to do it your way.
I won't tell him how to do it.
You have once at least.
And I never tell anybody how to do the job. Because our goal is the end result.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they want to pull their shoes off and put some sandpaper on their feet and sand the side of the car, as long as the end result is what I need, I will show them different ways. And, Dennis, when he first started, he's been here almost 10 years. I let him do the way he does it. And then I'll suggest to him, hey, this is why I suggest it.
Yeah.
And
the reason why.
If you cut this car down and the back up, and I don't mean to back up, we try and keep them just a little bit fat in the body filler. Because we're going, we 80 grit it and we keep it a little bit fat because the distinct block will take it down even more.
I understand that.
So you don't want to be hitting bare metal all over the place so your filler's getting, your filler spots are low.
Yes. Basically, the ocean floor, you don't want to see it generally. You don't want to go down that far because that's the chance of a mess up right there where the ocean floor is peeking through.
So we try and keep it,
a little bit fat. And what he's trying to say is...
People look at him and go, why is there so much filler? Well, no, the car's skimmed in filler.
Yes.
And that's just to make, from the quarter panel all the way to the nose is all one line. There's no breaks in the lines. So
that's
there's
nice.
one in there if you want
a lot of I most certainly do.
So we have,
300, or you're going to guide coat that. You're going to 300 it, and then you're going to 500 it.
Yep.
And what are you doing for what are you using for wash down and all that stuff? You're using the premium.
We use a solvent based cleaner, and then we'll use a water base after that before it's ready to paint. But we'll 320 these first, and then we'll do all our other stuff. So we'll paint the floors underneath while it's in 320.
Okay.
So once the floor is painted, we just mask it up, and then we'll do the outside in 500, and that way it's open before it goes in the paint booth. You don't want a 500 and let it sit for a week because it can have a tendency to lock back up or close back up, or your scratches could swell or anything like that. So we 500 it right before it goes in the paint booth.
Okay.
Next day we'll paint it. So
cool. Awesome.
That's the prep process.
That's getting ready.
That's getting ready for the paint.
You're nowhere near done.
Nowhere near done.
Nowhere near.
Then it goes in the paint booth, and then we'll.
You got one in the paint booth you're going to show us?
I do have one that's
this is cool.
That we did a little touch up on. Watch your step coming in.
Yep. Come on in, Jolene.
Yeah, come on in.
Come on into the office.
This is a 36 Ford 3 window that we did.
Beautiful. Do you want me to shut this?
No, you can leave it open.
Okay.
Nope. 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Is this the one you wanted to
5
sell me
years
for 40,000?
No. No. So this is a very good customer, and he's become a really good friend. I mean, and that's part of.
I'd be your friend too. You
That's part of what we do. Is it's not just a one and done kind of thing. You know, we try and do the best we can to keep the customer happy, and then we get to do multiple cars or multiple jobs.
Will this customer drive this car quite a bit?
This car was actually, it came back for a couple little touch-ups because we drove to Nebraska and back. So it's been on the road, and it's but I mean it's like a new car. It's got a LS motor in it, Don Hardy motor, but I mean it's Sid Shavers does the interiors. It's like
What's his name?
Car. Sid Shavers. He's down
Sid Shavers.
Yeah, down in Carlsbad. You can smell the leather.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
So.
Hey man, this has got the trunk lid on there. The same guy do this car as that other car?
Same owner.
Same owner.
And he likes the bigger trunk lids on them. So
he's got a coupe, and then he's going for a cabriolet.
Cabriolet, yeah.
Or is that a cabriolet? That one?
That's a cabriolet, yeah, 36 cabriolet. So.
Does he have the 5 window?
No, he doesn't have a 5 window.
That's next.
No, that's probably, yeah. So actually we're doing a Willys for him next, I think.
Wow.
So.
But it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is done and had some miles put on it and all that kind of stuff. So, but you can see the work it takes to get all the gaps on the whole car are the exact same.
Well, I see it.
Keep it.
I see it, but the amount of time to get it there is what people don't see.
No, and these cars are not never made
built
for that because they were going down dirt roads in the 30s. I mean, 36, so they were going down dirt roads and bouncing all over the place.
Well, you can tell how the trunk lid fits the body, like it's...
it kind of follows the shape on the back, because normally stock, they're this big.
Right.
And to lean over and, do all that, but this, I think it's got plastic in it. But, I mean, it's a good sized trunk now, and they're always this size, but now it's a little easier to access it. So, it's...
Don't slam the trunk lid.
No, you don't. There's no need to slam.
Have you seen the video of me painting the running boards of the roller?
I did.
You know what?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. No, they look good. Yeah. whatever it takes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's too funny.
So
it's too funny.
After they're painted, of course, with orange peel and all that kind of stuff, so we got to sand all that, and that's a whole nother process.
So now let's talk about that process.
Yeah.
Now, how many coats of base?
Whatever it takes to get it covered.
Whatever it takes to get it covered.
Yeah.
Now,
so it could be 3, it could be 5.
Do you wait in between your coats of base?
Yeah.
How long?
Usually, this one here is water based.
Yes.
So you got to wait till it completely dries, and you can force dry it with air blowers and blowing on it, or you can let it dry naturally. And usually, it's not just one piece in here. We have like all the parts that are over there. So we try and get it full in here.
So you're not
without bumping into something.
You didn't paint this car like this.
I did not. No. I painted it all in pieces.
All in pieces.
So the door jambs on this car are just as nice as
I noticed that too, like just absolutely stunning.
And that's, there's as much paint on the inside as there's the outside. But yeah, I mean, it takes probably, if you time yourself, usually about 15 minutes to put one coat on all of the.
Okay, in the base, he's saying, and on water base, no metal can be showing, eh?
No metal can
metal showing.
So we seal everything. We seal everything to where there's no metal showing.
You would never have any metal showing on your work either, when you're done sanding it either.
No, we try not to.
No. Okay, so then
even with the polyester primer, our goal is to not break through the polyester primer to the body filler, because
I agree with that 100%.
It's like you're breaking the eggshell.
It's another chance for a mess up.
Yeah, you're breaking the eggshell, which means it doesn't have a shell.
I agree.
So we're trying to do, and even if we got a breakthrough, because nobody's perfect, we'll go back in and spot it in polyester and block it, so there's still a polyester shell.
Awesome.
We call it a shell or whatever.
So now that you put your base on, you're basing it until it's completely covered
Yeah,
until you
so
like
we've
it.
got
Are you
coverage
coming in with a light and shining over
Yes,
all of them?
before I put clear on it, yes, we'll
Okay.
come in with a light and check everything. And,
So when you put your clear on,
yes.
I'm beating them down, I think.
No.
How many coats of clear will you put on it?
6.
6. That gives you
All
enough.
at one time. Yeah, I mean, not all at one time, but in one session, I'll put 6 coats on.
And that gives you enough material.
That gives me enough material
to work with.
Color sand and polish.
Right, because you're actually sanding it down and doing that.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain that process? after you
Yes.
after you get the clear on.
Yeah, after we clear, I mean, it's usually 15 to 20 minutes in between each coat of clear.
Okay.
You know,
because you've got this to what temperature? 78.
I try like to spray, and actually it's probably 75 to 78 is because I use slow reducer.
You hear
for
that?
everything.
75 to 78. I'll have
Yes.
to make sure I dial my oven.
But that's ultimate for me, and I use
Yes.
slow reducer for everything. So
What's slow reduce? Just
it'd be like an 85.
Okay.
Is what or it's like an 85 to 90, because that way you get a little bit more flow, and you're painting all these pieces again.
Yeah.
You don't want to be painting this piece
and stuff.
having dry overspray landed on this piece. So
Gotcha.
you can usually get a good coat in here, go out for 15 minutes, come in, and it's ready to go again.
I understand.
So I got a little cooking timer in there that
Yeah.
I punch in and set. And
Right.
the more you put on this, the more time you gotta wait.
Do you mix your paint exactly what the can says, or do you mix it the way you like it?
The way I like it. Well, no, okay.
It's recommended.
And when it comes to clears and
Yeah.
stuff, okay, with the base coat, yes, you got to mix it a certain way because it's water based. It's 4 to 1.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to over reduce because it's going to run off the car.
Okay.
Some of the solvent that I've used, you can play with the reduction a little bit on the base coat.
Yeah.
But when it comes to clear coats, the recommendation is on the clear I use is 2 to 1 to 1. But it says you can go 1.5 to 2 parts more reducer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I play, and I play with how I want it to flow, how I want it to build.
Right.
And sometimes it gets real fat.
That's okay,
or
isn't
steely.
it?
Well, no, I mean, it's just more work you got to sand off.
Okay.
To make it flat.
Better to have it fat than skinny.
Yes, because that way you can.
You do have the product.
Yes. So there's enough product there.
Right.
So, but I've played with all the mix ratios on the clear.
Will it take you? Like, would you clear it all in one day?
Yes. Yes.
Do you base it the same day?
Yes, and also I've waited, overnight.
You've gone home.
So if it's a color that takes an awful lot to get it covered, say some will cover in 3, some will cover in 5 or 6 or 7 coats.
Yes.
I let it sit overnight.
Also, I see you've got gray primer. Mm-hmm. Do you value shade these cars before you spray them?
I will seal them. Yes.
And you'll seal it too.
A dark color will be a black. A lighter color will be gray.
Say that one more time. A black.
A dark color will be black. We'll seal it in black.
Yes.
And then a lighter color we'll use a gray or a white.
Okay.
It depends.
And just bring out the color more, or makes it
better coverage?
Better coverage.
Yeah.
Right.
So, for instance, the little orange roadster that we did that was in AMBR against the other one. So it was orange.
You've won. You have part of 6, but you've probably painted how many for that show, for the Grand National Roadster Show?
A lot.
So you got more rings than you know. Just because you haven't won doesn't mean.
No, I mean I've had a car in the Grand National Roadster Show, at least one car every year for probably almost 30 years.
Wow.
At least one car.
That's a lot.
The most I've ever had was 8.
That's a lot of rings.
At one time.
At one show?
One show, 8 cars that we did.
How many cars will you paint a year?
Well, I try and do at least 4. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. And, we've slowed things down a little bit because the older you get.
Well, I mean, you have to have more people working.
You don't move quite as fast.
You have to have more people working for you, obviously.
Yes, and it's just me and another guy, and people ask all the time, how many guys you got working on? It's me and one other guy.
Yeah.
Because that way we can, and I'm not one to sit in the office and come out here and
you do the
quote
work.
unquote ball breaker. I'm out here working.
Right.
I'm working side by side with them, and it's what I enjoy. So
are you looking to hire?
I am looking to hire. I've got.
If you want to be a part of a championship team,
we are looking to hire. I've got, Dennis that's been with me for almost 10 years is moving on. He's relocating. He and his wife are relocating, so I have an open spot.
How will you know whether you got the right person or not? And how long will it take you to know if you got the right person?
I can know within the first day.
Wow.
And
what's the giveaway? So just so someone wants to come around, and
it's just
work ethic.
And I try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I mean, coming into a place, and I have no ego. I'm just blessed to do what I do.
Yeah.
And from what people tell me, I'm pretty good at it. So, no, and I tell people every day, I mean, every time I come into paint booth, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I don't have butterflies, it's time to stop.
Because I get butterflies.
Yes, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be painting a fender on a friend's Toyota or something like that. I mean,
you just put in a bunch of time.
Yes, you
put in a bunch of time.
My wife can vouch. I mean, it's pretty.
Do you go home
I get
at night?
into it.
Yeah, I understand that. When you go home at night, sometimes you're frustrated.
Sometimes you're not talking.
What happened at work today, Darryl?
Yes.
Why aren't you talking to me?
Yeah, no, and she knows. I mean, she's been around it all her life, so it's tough at times, but it's how I get done what I need to get done.
Awesome. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you come to polish this car,
yes,
what grit would you start on your clear?
600.
600.
Yeah, and I can show you all my little tricks.
That's quite low.
Yes.
600 dry or wet?
Wet.
600 wet. See, I've never done much wet because it just.
We do everything's dry sanded up to.
That's another question I read.
Yes.
Dry sanded. You're talking dry sanded all the way.
Everything's dry sanded up till after it's painted. I don't wet sand primers or anything like that because it's messy. Number one, and number two, there's bare metal on the car still.
Right.
So
you don't water on it.
We don't want water on it. So we'll dry, and it's been a process I've used.
All right. So, do you want to show me your process?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Look at the.
I feel very fortunate to come in this paint room.
A lot of cool stuff's happened.
No, I mean, like there's been like I can't say it enough. If you got the pictures on the wall, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
That's what I generally say. The proof is in the pudding. So if you get a chance to see this stuff up close like this, and someone to explain the process to it, like I really appreciate it.
No.
I really do. And everybody that's watching should appreciate also.
Yeah, and may not be their process, but
well,
again, it's worked for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, it gives me a little bit of inspiration because you don't use epoxies on bare metal.
Well, and that's kind of how
you've done it.
Yeah, that's how we've done it.
Can you turn around, Darryl?
Yes. What are you looking at in the back of my head? My lawnmower man?
Yeah, you got a lawnmower.
Nice. I got a lawnmower in the back.
I'm going turkey. They're going to give me something.
All right, so this is my little, I call it my tweaker cart, but.
Your tweaker cart?
Yeah.
We've seen a bunch of tweakers around here.
Yeah, so this is.
And then people do funny moves. Yes.
Everybody loves my little cart.
It's awesome.
I've had it for a long time, so this is, I can roll it to anything and sand and polish it, make it look beautiful. So this is my 600 grit paper.
Okay. 600?
600. 800, 1,000, 12, 1,500, and then up here I have
600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. You do each one of those processes?
We don't do the 12. So I start out with 600 with a block, and here's my little blocks here. So we'll use plastic.
Yep.
And there's different, that one was not flexing, and then these ones here are
different blocks for different places.
Different blocks for different places. I mean, this is.
So if you were sanding inside the doors, like inside the door, like in that post, inside that post, what are you going with?
We're going to go with the smaller, either something like that.
Something flexible and small?
A little bit flexible. This one here is my little go-to.
I throw that in the garbage.
Yeah. So it's plastic and rubber on the other side.
Wow. Where'd you get something like that? Did you make it?
Jason Kilmer actually sent me these.
Okay.
He makes them. And then these are from another company. I can't remember the name of the company.
Like you really have to be into it. Yeah.
And you have, and that's it. It's every little block is for something different,
Crazy.
Different spot on the car. But we'll go 600, 800, and 1,000 with a piece of plastic.
Okay. I'm going to ask you something. Are you guide coating in between those ones?
I do. So
What are you guide coating with?
for lighter colors, we use the black dry guide coat.
Exact same thing as over there?
Well, yes, different brand. And then we also have white.
Does this matter if it's a different brand or not?
No.
No.
Because this won't wash off as easy as the 3M stuff.
Okay, so you're using black for the lighter colors.
Black for lighter colors, and we got white for darker colors.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So
And you're doing your guide, and you're doing the 600 first.
we do
So your
600
guide coating
first.
with this first. Your
no,
guide
we'll do 600 first
with no guide coat.
with no guide coat.
Okay,
And then we'll guide coat it.
because you can see the orange peel,
Yes,
obviously.
you can see the orange peel.
Yeah.
And it's basically, we try and do the color staining just like we do our prep work. So 600, we should be pretty darn flat.
Okay.
And then 800, we're just chasing scratches all the way up to, this is 5,000 here. So the process that we use
Some smooth.
is we'll go 600, 800, 1,000 with a hard piece of plastic.
Okay.
And then we'll switch to
Foam.
rubber
Or like
foam
rubber,
to do 1,500. And then we'll do 2,000, 3,000, and 5,000 on a DA.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's that size, and then we have the little 3-inch ones.
So on the on that, you're guide coding between these two bad boys
No.
too? No, you're just
Nope.
going over it.
We're
and
going
sanding.
over it with.
Is
yeah,
this wet or dry?
This is wet.
Wet. Is all polishing wet sandpaper?
That's what we use. Yes.
Okay. Oh, I would,
Yes. No. That's, and it's, obviously there's the bigger DAs, and then there's the smaller. These are all.
Yeah, you got a bunch of smaller ones
These
there.
are all the smaller DAs. We got the little angle sander for doing in the door jambs.
Yeah.
We can cut it to.
So you're cutting that paper. What's on that? 5,000?
That's 5,000 there.
Like it.
So
Yeah.
there's a little, 1-inch one that we've made
Yeah.
for doing other things. Then there's all the polishers. These are,
So you're not polishing nothing until you get all the sanding done.
yes,
All right.
to
so
5,000.
To
We've done
5,000.
8,000 before, but it's not.
Doesn't do anything for you.
It's just, and some people go over 3,000. It just depends on whether you want to sand or whether you want to polish.
Are you doing this on most every car that you do?
Every car we do gets this process.
Whoa.
So, I mean, it's just,
Whoa.
and that's just, people come to you and go, oh, I don't want a show job. Well,
Go home.
we don't do, we do things one way. And that's the way we
Have done it, and that's where
that's
you're
the way
doing
I've
it.
done it. If somebody comes in, it's got a car that they,
You don't put rockers on and spot jobs and.
yeah, or, but we do, we do that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's,
It's to high quality.
it's the high quality, and then all this stuff is,
When you're done sanding,
Uh-huh.
what is the first pad you use, and what is the first polish you use?
we use 3M stuff, and it's,
Okay.
This is it here, the
I think I've got
3M regular
Yeah.
compound, and then we'll use a wool pad.
wool pad,
Yeah, and there's,
like these little bad boys here.
like those are little ones. Let me get this out of the way. Here's some bigger ones. These are from the company Grios, and I use a lot of their stuff because they have
What is the wool pad for? What's
cutting.
that do?
That's your first cut. That's our first cut.
Okay.
So we'll
Wool
use
pad.
wool on the first cut, and there's, like I said, there's.
So you'll use wool with number one.
Yep. Here's our bigger wool pads.
Okay, so you're using number one on this.
Yep.
So number one compound. There's 1, 2, and 3. Is there not?
Yes. So one is
wool.
the cutting for wool,
Yeah.
and then we'll take the same compound
Yeah.
and go over it with a foam pad.
What color? Because there's different colors of foam.
We use purple.
Purple.
This is the 3M process.
Okay.
So, and then the other pads, like the smaller ones we got, we'll use the Grios, and comparable is the orange.
So you go purple first and then orange.
Purple first, then orange, or orange. because-
Okay, or orange. Run
Yes.
up. Okay.
So 3-inch, and then these go all the way down to 1-inch.
Okay.
So for all the little door jams and all the little nooks and
That's on
crannies.
number one.
That's number 1. Number 2 will go. Oh, that's number 3. This would be number 3. So number
Okay.
2 would be with a foam pad. First,
Okay.
number 1's a wool pad.
Okay. Number two,
Number 2 is a foam pad.
That's the
Same
blue.
compound.
The blue one.
The purple.
Yeah. The purple. Okay.
Then we'll go to the black which is our number 2. Well, it says number 2 on it,
Yeah.
but this is the foam polishing. So we use a black foam pad.
Like this?
Yes. To finish it
And
off.
you have a big one also to put on your...
I have a big one here.
Okay.
And then we have the smaller ones. I was going to show you my little... So these are...
Wow.
So these are all little pads.
Not messing around.
So... and then we even have even smaller ones. These ones here go on a Dremel. And these are for just getting, you know, you can polish your toenails with them. So, but I mean, there's...
That's amazing.
So, I mean, we don't use these that much. We use a lot of the Dremel stuff.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
you
and these are all
could put
different.
that in a drill?
Yeah, it goes in a little Dremel.
Okay.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I mean, that's, or drill, whatever. So
Okay.
these are obviously a harder foam
In a spot that needs that.
spot that needs it.
And that would be to the contour of that?
So see on this car, it's my lovely wife in here.
Wow.
So this will be polished just like this or this. So it gets to these little corners all over. So, so that's our process. That's what takes so long.
That's where it's at.
That's why we don't do, you know, plus there's only 2 of us. We don't do 10 cars a year.
I understand that. I understand that.
Then after that, sometimes we'll use the blue
Yeah.
with the blue pad, but most of the time we don't. We finish it off with this, with a black pad, and then they go and be assembled. After assembly, then that's when the orbitals come in and all that kind of stuff, which we don't do a whole bunch of.
Okay.
But everything we do is done with a rotary.
You can tell me I'm getting quiet because it's getting serious. It's getting
But
serious.
it's just, you know, that's, you know.
Tell me something. Where you cannot get into a spot, it's hard to get into, like with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get caught up or whatever. When you do it by hand, how are you doing it? Like if you have to get in a spot by hand, you're
Same thing as what I would do with the pads, but I just do it with a rag.
do it with a rag.
But we try and get, you know, like I said,
as
we
close
have,
as you can. With
we have pretty much.
everything you need.
I don't think there's many spots on a car that we can't get into with the polisher
Okay, because of all this.
because of all this and because of all these. You know, I mean, there's several different sizes, and a lot of these pads, these are just regular die grinders, snap-on.
I got you, but you got pads fit every one of them.
But we got pads that we start out with. I mean, most of these just started out this size,
Gotcha.
3-inch, and we'll just cut them down to whatever is going to work for whatever we need to do.
And you just keep them like that, and they're there. You don't have to keep changing them. You just cut down the pad.
Yep, just cut down the pad, and that's, you know, there's, I don't know, that's an inch and a half, and then these are, you got 3-inch, and then you got 2-inch,
Yeah.
another 3-inch. So I mean, it's,
And you can stick any pad on there you want. Like if you want a
yes,
white pad.
I want a wool pad, I
you
can
want
stick a wool pad
you
on
put
there.
a wool pad on
Yep,
there. If you
there's a little 1-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, and then there's more.
What will you use the yellow here for? I see you got yellow in there. What-
Yellow would be, this yellow is different than this yellow. This
Okay.
yellow is more for finishing. I could actually use that instead of a black pad. It's a little softer. These I can use with compound
Yeah.
for cutting.
Are you doing all the polishing yourself?
I am.
You don't let? Do you let the other guys do
Yes,
it?
I do.
That'd be scary.
He didn't want, at first, he's like, no, I don't want it. But when
If you're gonna work here,
when
you have
know,
to.
Yeah, when you know all this stuff, and even Dennis has said before, is that because he does the metal work and he does the fit work and the primer. I mean, the body filler and all that. We both do.
Yeah.
But he said before is I get more upset if there's a problem with the filler than if he accidentally burns through one of my paint jobs.
Right.
You know, because I'm paying him to do that part of it.
Right.
He's helping me do this part.
Right.
I mean, you still get paid.
Yes, I understand.
You know, but he was hired to do that. You
Right.
know, and you gotta have that trust. And as long as I trust him, then, you know, I mean, everybody has a problem. I burn through my own paint jobs.
Yes.
Try not to, but you know.
There's another thing. When you start burning through things, that causes a big issue.
It can.
Because you're back into.
Because you're back into painting again.
Right. Are you back? You're back into priming again, also, are you not?
Nah, not so much that. I mean, because we just, if you end up going through the clear, then you gotta fix it. But we try not to. But sometimes things happen. What do you call shit happens?
So I guess that would explain.
It happens to the best of us.
That would explain why, and that's a lot of people don't understand. I guess when someone says they got $1 million in a car, well, you have to understand what process is happening. If you're got you're taking to a shop and get a bunch of metal work done.
Yeah.
I mean, that metal work has to be taken off, put back on, just like you're doing your body work
Yeah.
a bunch of times. I mean, basically the car has to fit like it's supposed to fit.
Yeah. And when we get them,
take it off, you put it back on. You take it off, you put it back on, and it's supposed to fit.
And we got and the process is not just our process. Our process is also, their process as far as like. Roy Brizio, he's the one that's building the cars. So these cars have been all put together, motors, everything with the exception of wiring and interior has been done to these cars before they come to me.
Yes, they've been built.
So yes, so when they come to me and we do whatever we're gonna do and they're finished, go back, there's no like, oh, we gotta cut holes for this.
It's gotta be all done again.
We gotta it's already all been done, which makes everybody's process that much easier.
Right. Okay.
You aren't trying to figure out something
right
that hasn't already been figured out. So.
And if that passes by, that's a mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake. I mean, just like if
will they run the car before they bring it here?
No.
So
it's not wired or anything. But the
okay,
motors
you
are
just
set
said
in
that,
them and all that kind of stuff. Everything's been done. Taillights have been on them, not wired, but taillights have been on them and all that kind of stuff. So any trim has been made. So this trim here I can show you is for the car that I can't show you. So
no Mako jobs are coming out of here.
No. So this is, and one of the guys over at his place has built it. So that's the trim for the grill.
Nice.
So it's all handmade out of brass.
Yeah.
And it comes to us with the car.
Would that be cut out of one piece?
No, I think what it is, it's this size, half round. It's been bent and made to fit. You can see where some has been heated.
And
so even this comes with the car, so we could do all our fit work, body work, and primer,
and put that back on.
With this in our possession. Then when we're done, when it's at that stage, final primered, then all this goes to the chrome shop to be chromed. So it's fit all the way up to chrome and paint. We have the tolerances and all that stuff on this stuff. So this is for the grill. So it's all,
Yeah, it's handmade, and they'd have to file that, sand that, and put that in that shape.
Yep.
I've taken a brass nut before and made a ring out of it. The same process, I guess. But I've never made a piece like this, obviously.
No, and it's
it's time.
There's a little trim here that's for the back. It's all the same thing, handmade.
So most pieces that are chromed on a car that are generally not there are made out of brass, most of them?
Yeah, or stainless. Sometimes we make them out of stainless and polish them, or even aluminum and chrome them.
Right.
But brass is real easy to work because it's soft.
Right.
And you can
easy to mess up too.
It's easy to mess up.
Tighten it up too tight.
Yep. So, and that's what all the little studs are, and you can pull the studs out if you go too tight. Because they're drilled in and then either welded or.
Then you're back to the drawing board again. And that process right there, you pull one of those bad boys out, you're in for another day.
Back to the chrome shop again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a huge process.
Quite amazing.
From start to finish.
I'm blown away.
So.
I'm blown away.
But it's no different than what you're doing.
Well.
No, it isn't. You're creating something that you do. That's. Just because you do what you do is different than what I do.
Yeah.
I still have the respect for what you're doing as much as you have the respect for what I'm doing. It's simple.
I'm just smiling. I'm just grinning ear to ear.
It's a process.
Huh?
Your process is different than mine.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying? It's all.
I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to get somewhere, and I have a process to get there.
Yeah, and you have haters,
Yes?
Just like I have haters.
Awesome.
I have people that, you know.
Well, I mean, let's mean you can't. You
but
can't.
I mean, it's just.
I understand.
It's people that sit behind their computers and they probably can't sweep their own front yard, and they're talking shit about what you're doing or what I'm doing. You know?
Right.
I mean, our car won America's Most Beautiful Roadster, and there's probably a list of as many people that disliked it that there was people that liked it. And it's like, well, if you don't like it, don't look at it or don't paint your car that color. You know, move on, do something else.
I thought it was era perfect.
It is
to me
what we liked.
Yeah.
We wanted something ugly that had ugly color, but had a lot of cool stuff on it.
Well, it seemed like it could have been.
It could have been.
It could have been, like, to
know,
me, that's
yes.
what that you were going for.
And we like
that could have been that
timeless.
kind. Yeah.
I mean, look, bitching in the 40s.
Yes.
And here it is, the 2000s, and it still looks bitching. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a timeless kind of thing, and that's kind of what we're into.
Do you drive that car much?
We drive it all the time. I drove it down to the Grand National.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it there. I think I
through
pointed it out
the
maybe.
snow over the Great. I mean, we weren't in the snow, but it was cool to go down there, and it was, but nuts,
So this is the man, the myth, the legend that has the most rings.
Yeah, right.
You do, obviously, you do.
I mean, it's.
And here he is, and he just explained his process to everybody that's willing to watch. And I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate it too. It may not be yours.
It's not mine.
But it works for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's other people out there that have different processes. But
what's the guy that played for the Buffalo?
This is what works for me.
The quarterback?
Which one? Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the Brady of
come on.
It's
Nope.
the same thing. It's the same thing, I'm telling you.
I'm just a guy that's been fortunate.
The proof is in the pudding.
I love what I do, and
the proof is in the pudding. Don't listen to him, listen to me.
People tell me I'm pretty good at it, so.
Have a great day, everybody. I appreciate it, and I appreciate Darryl.
Thanks for
appreciate
coming.
Darryl coming, telling us his process, and I appreciate his wife for letting us in.
Yep.
She obviously is the boss.
Yes.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for coming.